close till I get up. Time is barely on our side.
Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Usetale. Thank you so much for stopping by. Today's tutorial video is going to be all about the drafting of the pattern for the making of a bustier blouse with yoke and peplum. If it sounds like something you're interested in, keep on watching and let's get started. Before we go straight to the tutorial guys, if you're a beginner in corset making and you wish to improve your skills on how to make a perfect fitting corset like the one you are seeing on the screen right now, then our cropped corset class is for you. To register, send a WhatsApp message to the number on the screen. Thank you. Welcome back guys. This video is going to be the part 1 version of the making of the blouse and it's going to be all about the pattern drafting. These are the fabrics you are going to be needing to be able to make the blouse. So this is the African print I'll be making use of and I have it to be 2 yards. You're also going to be needing a Chantini lace fabric for the yoke and I have mine to be half yard. You'll be needing a lining fabric, so my lining fabric is also 2 yards. You're going to be needing stay. You're needing nothing less than 2 yards as well. Then you'll be needing your pad. So this is the soft pad, okay? So I'm going to make use of the soft pad. So these are all the fabrics that you're going to be needing to be able to make the blouse. Now to draft the pattern, these are the body measurements that you're going to be needing. These are my personal body measurements. So do what to write down your own personal body measurements, okay? Now I'm going to first of all rule a line here which is going to serve as the starting line. After ruling that line, now I'm going to take my body measurement. So I'll place the tape on the starting line, then I'll measure to the bust point. Then I'll take the under bust, then I'll take the waistline. I'm just going to go ahead now to rule out the lines with my straight ruler. After you are done doing that, now you label here the shoulder line, here is the bust line, the under bust line, and the waistline. Now you come to the shoulder line and take your shoulder measurements divided by 2. Then you come down by 1 inch for the shoulder slope. You take 3 inches for your neck width and also 3 inches for your neck depth. Then you're going to connect your shoulder slope just like this. Then you use your curve ruler to create a round neckline. After you are done doing this guys, now the next thing you want to do is to get the armhole depth. To do that, I normally come down by my round bust measurement divided by 6 plus 1.5, and whenever I do that I have it to be 7.5. So just mark it and you're going to connect it out just like this. Now you label it the chest line. Now the next thing you're going to do is to divide what you have on this line into 2 to get half of it. From that mark, you're going to go in by 0.75 inch, okay? Now, on the chest line, you will take your round bust measurement divided by 4. Then you're going to go ahead to connect the armhole. So first of all, use your straight ruler to connect like this. Then you're going to use your curve ruler to connect this point to meet this point. So guys, this is it. Now the next thing you're going to do is to come to the bust line here. You're going to take your nipple to nipple measurement divided by 2. Then you take the same thing on the waistline. Then you're going to connect it with your straight ruler. After doing that, now you're going to take half inch on both sides of this line that you just drew. Then you're going to connect your dart. After you are done doing that, now you're going to divide what you have on this shoulder area here into 2. So I have 4 divided by 2, I have 2. Then I'm going to go ahead to connect it to meet the bust line. So now the next thing is to create the bustier. To do that, I'll come to the under bust line here. So from the dart leg that I have here, I'll be going out by half inch. Then I'll also go out by half inch on the dart leg of this other side. Then I'm going to connect it down to the waistline straight, just like the way you see me doing. After you're done doing that, now you're going to use your curve ruler to connect from that point to meet the bust line in a curved way like this. Can you see what I did? So just go ahead and create it just the way you see me doing. So after you are done doing that now, the next thing is to create the side dart. So on the bust line, I'll come down by the difference between my front and back waistline. So for my case, it is 1 inch. So just come down by the difference you have there and you're going to connect it to meet the bust line just like this. Now, in order for us to close up this side dart, I'm going to be cutting this line open. So just cut it to meet the bust point, then go ahead and cut the bust line here as well. Then you will cover up the dart. Okay, use your paper tape to tape it down just like that. After doing that, now I'm going to be coming down by how deep I want the yoke to be. For my case, I want the yoke to be as deep as 6 inches. Okay, I don't want it to be too deep, so I just marked 6 inches there. Then I'm also going to mark 6 inches here. Then I'm going to go ahead to rule a straight line just like this. Then you also rule a line here as well. After you are done doing that, now I'm going to be creating that at the top here. So I'm going to be creating that here. So I'll be going in by ½ inch on both sides. So I'll go in by ½ inch here. Then I'll also go in by ½ inch here. Then I'm going to connect it to meet the bust line with my straight ruler. Can you see? Then you will do the same thing here as well. Now, after you are done doing this, you're going to measure the dart. So you can see the darts that I created here, ½ inch here, ½ inch here. So together I have it to be 1 inch. Okay, so I'm going to be adding the 1 inch to the side here. Can you see? Then I'll also measure what I have here and here. So together I have it to be ½ inch. I'll be adding it to this area here. Then I'm going to use the curve ruler to connect the 2 points. So first of all, I'll use the straight ruler to connect this. Then I will use the curve ruler to create another armhole here. Now, this armhole, we are no longer going to be making use of it. So this other new one is the one we'll be cutting. Now I'm going to take all the round body measurements. So here I have my round bust measurements divided by 4. I'll just add 1 inch to it for the sewing allowance. Then I'm going to connect. I'll come to the under bust line. I will take the round under bust measurements divided by 4. I'll measure this dart. Then I'm going to add it to it. So just add the dart and add extra 1 inch for the sewing allowance. Then come to the waistline, measure your round waist measurement divided by 4. Measure the dart here and you're going to add it to it and add extra 1 inch for the sewing allowance. Now you're going to go ahead to connect the 3 points with your ruler. I'll just use my marker to, trace all these lines here, the areas where I'm going to be cutting. Okay, so just go ahead and use your marker to make it visible like this, and after doing that you cut it out. So guys, after you're done cutting them out, this is what you're going to have. So these 2 pieces here for the yoke, I'm just going to tape them together just like this. Then after you're done taping, you label it. So this is the yoke for the front, and this is the center front, and here is the side front. So guys, that is it for the drafting of the front pieces. Now we are going to draft the back. I went ahead to roll out all the necessary lines on the pattern paper. You can see I have the shoulder line, then I have the zipper allowance. Okay, so the zipper allowance I took was 1.5 inches. Then after rolling the shoulder line, I came down to the bust point. So from the shoulder I came down to the bust point and I marked the half length of the back. So guys, 15 inches is the half length of my back. Okay, so I took my bust point and the half length of the back. On the shoulder line, I took my shoulder measurements divided by 2. I came down by 1 inch for the shoulder slope. I took the neck width of 3 inches, and for the neck depth of the back, I came down by 1 inch. Then after I was done doing that, I created a round neckline. Then I came down here by my round bust measurement divided by 6 plus 1.5, and I rule it out just like that. Now I'm going to go ahead to label the lines. So here I have the chest line, this is the bust line, and this is the waistline. Then I will label here the zipper. Now the next thing I'm going to do is to create the armhole. So I'm going to come to this line here. I will divide what I have here into 2. Then I will make a mark. From that mark, I will go in by half inch. Then on the chest line, I will take the round bust measurement divided by 4. Now I'm going to go ahead to create the armhole. So first of all, use your straight ruler to connect from this point to meet this point. Then you use your curve ruler to create the armhole just like this. Now after you are done doing that, the next thing is to get the yoke for the back. So I'm going to come down from the shoulder line by 6 inches, which was exactly the same thing I used for the yoke of the front. Then go ahead and rule a straight line just like this. Now you label it yoke. The next thing is to create the dart for the back. I'll come to the waistline and take the nipple to nipple measurement divided by 2. Then I will take the same thing on this new line that I just drew. Then I'm going to connect the point with the straight ruler. After connecting it like that, then you're going to take half inch on both sides of the line here. Then you're going to go ahead to create the dart. After you are done creating the dart, now the next thing is to take the round body measurement. So here I have the round bust measurement divided by 4. I'm going to measure this small dart that I have here is about half inch. I'm going to add it to it. Then I will add extra 1 inch for the sewing allowance. Then I'm going to connect it just like this. Then I'll come to the waistline and take the round waist measurement divided by 4. I'll measure the dart and I'm going to add it to it. Then I will add extra 1 inch for the sewing allowance. Then I will go ahead to connect it with my ruler. After you are done doing this, now the next thing I will do is to reduce zipper bulge. To do that, on this area here, I'm going to come in by half inch. Then I'm going to connect it in a slanted form just like this. Connect it in a slanted form to meet that line just like that. Then after you're done doing that, you're also going to be reducing the zipper allowance by half inch. Because you have reduced your bodies by half inch, you also reduce the zipper allowance by half inch. Then go ahead to cut it out. So guys, this is what you're going to have after you are done cutting. So I'm just going to label here at the back. So this is it, guys. Now I don't want the zipper to get up to the yoke, okay? So I'm going to be cutting out the zipper allowance of the yoke. So the yoke is not going to have a zipper. So guys, this is it for the drafting of all the patterns. You can see we've drafted out all the patterns that we need. Now I'm going to be transferring all the patterns to the main fabric, the lining fabric, and the net fabric. After you are done transferring all your patterns to your fabric, now it's time to draft the flare for the peplum, okay? So this is the pattern paper I'm going to make use of. It's a form of a square. Then you're going to first of all fold this into 2 like this. Then you're going to fold it again. So I folded it into 4. So this edge that you have here, that's where we are going to be taking the round waist measurement. For a 720 degrees flare, you cannot draft it at once. You need 2 of 360 degrees flare to give you your 720 degrees flare. Now, to draft this 360 degrees flare, I'm going to be drafting it with half of my round waist measurement. 28 inches is my round waist measurement and half of 28 inches is 14 inches. By the time I create a curve here, when I open it up, it is going to be a total of 14 inches because the pattern paper is folded into 4. To know what I'm going to be creating the curve with, I'll be dividing this 14 inches into 4, divided by 2, I have 7, divide that into 2 again, I have 3.5. Now it is this 3.5 that I'm going to be using to create the curve at the end here. So I will use the 3.5 inches to create the curve here. Can you see how I placed it on it? So just place it on it like this. Then you're going to mark where it is. Now you will measure from the edge to that mark that you just made. I have 2.25 inches. Then you're going to use 2.25 inches to create a curve. So just go ahead and create a curve all the way to the other end here. So after doing that, you connect the dots together just like this. Now you're going to measure it again to be sure it is up to 3.5 inches. So I have exactly 3.5. Now to get the length of the flare, I'm going to be taking out the half length. So the half length is 16. Place 16 on that line. Then you're going to mark the full length. Now from this line to the point I just marked, I have 8 inches. I'm going to also use 8 inches to create a curve. Can you see what I'm doing? You move it at the top a little bit. Make sure your movement is corresponding to each other. Then you're going to create a curve all the way to the other end, just the way you see me doing. Then after you are done, you connect the points together just like this. Then go ahead to cut this out. After you are done cutting it out, guys, when you open it up, this is what you're going to have it looking like. Now I'll be using these patterns to cut 2 pieces on my actual fabric. So that's what I'm going to do. This is what I had after I was done cutting out all the pieces, after I was done transferring all the patterns to the fabric. You can see I added all the sewing and joining allowances. See, I cut both the actual fabric and the lining piece, you can see, and I added half each round it for all the sewing allowance. Okay, so for the flare, you can see I also added the sewing allowance to the top and to the bottom here, and I cut 2 pieces of it for my actual fabric. So this is going to be for the actual fabric and 2 pieces for the lining fabric as well. I'm going to be joining the 2 pieces together while I'm sewing to give me the full peplum. This is it for the pattern drafting video, guys. In the next video, we are going to be joining all these pieces together to make a bustier blouse with yoke and peplum. Thank you so much, guys, for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share.